my dear colleagues, who sometimes are referred to as my bosses, my colleagues, members of the National Working Committee, our chairman from the 36 federating units of this great country, members of the Fourth Estate, let's not forget our secretariat. It is my pleasure and privilege to welcome all and sundry that are supposed to be invitees to this meeting. The meeting is summoned by the National Working Committee, and it's essentially to give us the opportunity of sitting with the gentlemen. Unfortunately, there's no woman amongst you. State Chair, why is she? To be able to sit with you to discuss developments taking place or developments that will take place by the grace of God in our great party. We have had one meeting, I think, since the election with you, if I remember well. We have not seen the meeting. Okay, since the election and the inauguration, we have held one meeting with the chief executives of states. Sometimes earlier this month, last month or last week of last month, the last week of last month. This is last month, no, last week, about a week ago, yeah. I must let us all know, those who know, who remember, we had a very, very fruitful meeting with the state governors. The essence of the meeting was to brief them on the fact that we are going to have our first National Executive Committee since the election of 2023. And it will be the first our President, Commander-in-Chief, Distinguished Senator Ahmed Bola Tinubu, will be attending with his Vice President, Kashim Shettima, for the first time. We thought it necessary to sit with the chief executives of states and the leadership of our state, of our party in the various states of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Like I was saying, we had a very useful meeting with the governors. We had one of the longest meetings we've ever held with the governors. And what we find most encouraging is their attitude towards the issue of discipline, their attitude towards the issue of unity of the party, their attitude towards divisionist tendencies in the party by members, and they were very emphatic. We were very, very, very happy with them, and it gave us room or cause to believe that we are going to have a very flourishing relationship with the new leadership of the Governors Forum. It follows therefore to say that they are going to improve on what their predecessors did in office in ensuring that the relationship between the party and the national leadership and the state leadership is going to be working in very, very good and harmonious way. We thought that having the meeting with the governors alone, important as it is, may not give us the desired mix for interaction with the state and for interaction with the leadership of the state and the national. So we thought there's a need for a meeting with those of you, the chairmen, who bear the brunt. Of course, the governors are the head of our party in the states, but you run the party on a daily basis. And a good blend of understanding between you and the governors and this secretariat and members of the National Committee will go more than the ordinary way in enhancing the kind of leadership that we want to have for the party. Not only that, there will be good understanding if you do know which way we are going at the national level, so that if you know in time, we can all hope and work to go the same direction, with you. At the same time, if we notice any problems in the state, as we normally will do, or if you may notice that there are some problems that is taking place or is happening at the national level, you also have a duty to stand up with us, to share with us what the problem is, whether it's on your end or it's on our end, so that together we can face the issue of solution to whatever problems we may be facing as a political party. We believe that's very important, and that cannot happen unless we have this kind of getting together, having a meeting from time to time. Now, we've just came out of an election, and we thank God we have been very, very successful at the election. As of today, we have 21 governors go, 20 governors, right? We have 3 elections, off-season elections to hold, and by the grace of God, some of them, if not all of them, will be coming into the APC kitty. That's our hope. And if that happens, we'll be having 24. Now, to whom much is given, much expected. If Nigerians stand up to support the party the way they have done, for us to get the kind of results we're all talking about, a lot is being expected from us as a party. From our manifesto, it's clear we made promises, and it behoves on us to see whatever we can do to ensure that we deliver on our promises on the election. Now, the elections have gone past. Of course, we are still at some tribunal at the national and some states, the federation. So all is not over yet, the election. But as is the tradition, those of you who know politics and who have been in it long enough, it is season now for complaints, season now for petitions, season now for condemnation, season now to appear to be in the forefront for purpose of patronage. No more, no less. So we have a duty to protect the state leadership where there's need for that protection, and you have got a commensurate responsibility to stand by the national officers, the national executive, national working committee of the party, so that we can be seen to be swimming together to safety. Whatever goes negative with our party rubs on all of us, rubs on our fortune, rubs on our integrity. And so we were so encouraged when the governors came and spoke without any equivocation whatsoever, condemning whatever would appear to be some division from some quarters, and encouraging those areas where there seem to be unity of purpose and togetherness in the drive to provide the necessary leadership for the party and the country. So, because of this, we decided to call the same kind of meeting we called the governors. We were describing you earlier on. We were thinking the meeting was going to be, our meeting is going to start today with the National Board of Trustees of our party. But as you must have heard from the news yesterday, Mr. President traveled to Guinea-Bissau. The National Caucus was supposed to take place today from 7 o'clock. But we got notice yesterday, just about 7, that the President is not able to be back in the country as planned. So he's coming in today, later today. And immediately he gets back, he's going to start preparations to travel to Kenya for another meeting. And so he will not be able to have the concentrated time resting and working and facing, whatever may be demanded of him as the leader of the party for tomorrow's ESCO. So they advised that we postpone the meeting by a week. And we did exactly that. On getting the advice, we sent in notice yesterday that the meeting of the National Caucus or National Board of Trustees is postponed for tomorrow until the 18th. And the National Executive Committee is postponed until the 19th, by the grace of God. So, in spite of the fact that there has been this adjournment, for the reasons I've just told you, we need to go ahead because most of you were already in Abuja yesterday. And we thought it would not be fair to come and say, go back and come again next week. That's why we decided that in spite of the postponement, we can still go ahead with our meeting. We are going to get reports from the Secretariat, or the Secretary's office, as to our finances, generally speaking, because it will come in the board of, in the National Executive Committee meeting. But you have to have basic or primary briefing as to what you have to know, as to what is happening, the status of the party, status of financing and the rest of it of the party, before we go for the National Executive Committee. There will also be a report to you and a request that we call upon you to help us develop a list of conflict resolution committee, which I am supposed to head for the party. As you very well know, elections, like I said a while ago, have just been concluded. We've just been inaugurated some 40 or so days ago, 42 days ago. And what is happening now is a lot of crisscrossing of petitions, allegations, somehow some negativity on the party just to deny us enjoying the pleasure of the hard work and the victory that God has given us. And whatever does not spare us in terms of reputation, you won't be spared as chairman of our various states. The joy of the victory is that of all of us. And if anybody tries to take that off us, we are not going to take kindly to it, let alone let it happen with us. So you will be informed to nominate, maybe at the donor level, the chairman will have to get together, and if it does, probably will give us two nominees from each zone. The formation of the conflict resolution in the constitution of the party is clearly stated. It's my responsibility as chairman of the NWC, and I want, in consultation with my colleagues at that level, we want to consult with you to give you also an opportunity to make nominations in that regard. And lastly, by way of my opening remarks, is the issue that the season now is season for wanting to be in government. You know, what we call spoils of war. We fought, we won. And every APC member has an inherent right to hope to get some patronage. And we cannot all get one thing. We cannot all be ministers of the government. We cannot all end up being members of board of directors of the parastatals and MDAs across the country. But we do expect some patronage from the government that we are forming. The president has just started and is doing his consultation, extensive consultation, before coming up with his nominees for ministers. The nomination for ministers will come first. They will go through their screening once they are pronounced, and formally report submitted to Mr. President. And Mr. President will formally appoint his ministers and swear them in. Only after doing that will he not disclose to each of them to the country to know which minister is going to which ministry, how many ministries we are going to end up having, that kind of stuff. And it is after that is done, the ministers assume office and they make a comprehensive report, majority report, as the status of all the ministries and all the MDAs under them before we're able to know what vacancies may exist of chief executives, executive directors, and part-time directors. This is an exercise that will take at least 1 or 2 months from now. It cannot happen by the next week or two. But that is what we should be expecting. So there are opportunities, and it is our hope and prayer that Mr. President will come along with us in that regard, and the leadership of the party, the state, and the national level will enjoy some level of patronage, you know, in the new government that the APC is forming. Those are the key issues that we do hope we share with you, you know, in the course of this meeting. You are most welcome.